Okay, everyone, we are going to kick off. Welcome to today's webinar on running a successful appraisal using Agentbox. My name is John, one of the trainers at Agentbox. If you've never been trained by me before, I am actually an ex-real estate agent, worked in real estate for 13 years, still an active auctioneer, run auctions every weekend. I run my training from the point of view of a real estate agent. So we're going to cover today's session on how to run appraisals and doing it from the point of view of a real estate agent. I've got my colleagues, Alex and Eduarda, which are also online. During the training, if you guys have any questions, just put it in the chat and they'll answer any questions you have as well. All right, guys, before we do kick off, I'm just going to run a quick poll. I just want to know what your usage is like on Agentbox. I'm just going to share the poll right now for everybody. Just gonna grab the poll quickly. And the poll will be up on your screen right now. Just go in there, answer, and let me know what you have. So the first question is, do you use the pipeline to monitor your appraisals and listings? And the next question is, do you actually use the appraisal walkthrough on the mobile app, which is very important. We are going to cover that today. So I'll give you guys about 60 seconds, put in your answers, and we'll go from there. I can see the results coming in, which is great. Just saw a comment, Jen, don't use either, no problem. Hopefully after today's training session, you'll understand how it works and then you'll be up and about using it. Guys, give you another few more seconds. I can see there's still people trying to answer. Give you a few more seconds and we'll go from there. Okay, awesome. I am going to share the results on screen with everyone. So as you can see, yeah, so some people use it all the time. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. That's cool. No, but I would like to. Awesome. That's why you're here today. And also with the question about the appraisal walkthrough. So some try to use it when they can, some didn't know they could do it. That's awesome. We're going to cover that today in our session. Jesset, same with Jen. Awesome, no problem. Well, hopefully after today's session, you guys have the confidence to use it. All right, first thing I want to do is I'm just going to share my screen, so my training system. So I'm going to stop sharing the poll and I'm going to share my training system and we're going to go from there. Guys, if you do have any questions throughout, I'm just going to close the chat. So if you have any questions in the chat, I won't respond, my colleagues will. Okay. So as you can see on screen right now is my training system. This is pretty much what you guys can see on your desktop. What we want to concentrate on is the pipeline. So we want to be able to get properties on the market as real estate agents, work them through the pipeline. On my screen, I've got my open appraisals in purple. I've got my presentations listed, pending, available, conditional, and unconditional. As real estate agents, our goal is to list the properties or to at least appraise the properties and move them through that pipeline until they get to unconditional. You can also see we've got value and GCI. Value is the value that we appraise a property for. So we do usually give a range when we appraise a property, but value is just a set figure. And the GCI comes off what our commission is based on that figure. So for example, if we value an appraisal property at $1 million and we tell them 2%, over here we'll have $1 million and then we'll have $20,000 as our GCI. As you can see, I've got 8 properties in my open appraisals. Depending on how big your office is, I like to keep my open appraisals within that 3 to 6 month period of the property actually coming on the market. If the property is not coming on the market within that 3 to 6 month period, it shouldn't be sitting in our open appraisals. So open appraisals are property we've gone out to and we've appraised. Presentations are properties we've gone out to and presented as well. We've actually run a full listing presentation, talking about marketing, talking about getting the property live on the market. If you go out, appraise and present at the same time, then you'll move the property and put it in presentation. While you're at the presentation, or if you get called back and you list the property. You secure the business, they sign the agency agreement, they sign the Form 6, depending on what state you're in. We move it to listed pending. The listing will stay in listed pending until we've got all the relevant documentations, we've taken our photos, we've got our marketing, we've written our blurb, we've booked our auctioneer, everything we need to do before the property is ready to go live on the market. Once we've ticked all the boxes, we then can move the property and make it available. Once it's available, if it is a live listing that we want it to go out to all the portals, we tick all the relevant portals and it'll go live available on all the relevant portals. If it is an off-market listing, and I get this question a lot, that we just want it to go to our database and we want it to go to just our website, you have the power to tick which portal you want the property to go live to. So if you've got a client that's not paying for marketing, they're not paying for it to go to all the platforms, you still make it available because it is going to shoot to your database and you want to capitalize on your database, but you don't necessarily have to tick all the portals. When you do have a signed contract on the property, so you receive an offer, the property then goes under contract, we move it to conditional. Once it's in conditional, they obviously dot their I's, cross their T's, make sure they're happy with everything. We move it then to unconditional. If it's an auction property or the buyers waive their right for a cooling off period, you automatically can move a property from available until unconditional, and it sits in unconditional until settlement. So that's our pipeline. As real estate agents, our goal is to always go in there and use that pipeline as often as we can. The pipeline is also good because it gives us an understanding of where we stand with a property. And if you're like me, you want to know, okay, well, my expectations is I should be making X amount in this time period. If I list this property and if I sell it for X amount, this is how much I'm making. The good thing is, though, when it's in unconditional, that's officially what it's sold for. And of course, our commission has pulled across. So we know once these properties have settled, how much money we're going to make moving forward. What we want to kick off with is we want to work on adding a property as a prospect property directly from a contact card. So I've got a contact in the system. So I'm going to search my contacts. As you guys know, we can search contacts by their names, phone number, email address, or address. In this case, I'm going to search from a mobile number. So we're going to go 055 333. There he is, Mitch. We're going to click on Mitch and it opens Mitch's contact card. Just going to click on contact card and I can see Mitch is in the system over here. Scrolling down, so I've got Mitch's first name, surname, email, mobile number, as well as his address. So I've tagged his address in the system. As you can see, it's not actually a related property. So it's not a prospect property just yet, but I built a relationship with Mitch. I met him at an open for inspection as a buyer. He's told me that he lives at this property. And now I want to add that property into the system because he lives in the property and he owns the property. If we've got a client that's a tenant and just renting a property, we can put the address in because that's their mailing address, but we don't necessarily want to add it in the system as a prospect property against this contact, because potentially the owner of this property would already be in our system and they'll be tagged as a prospect property against them. But in this case, we've got a relationship with Mitch, we understand that he owns the property and he lives in the property. What we now want to do is we want to add it as a prospect property to be able to market to Mitch moving forward and potentially get in the door to appraise the property. So I've got the address in. Once you put an address in the system and you save, this little icon comes up here that says add as property. So I'm going to click on that. And if you're going to appraise it straight away, you can automatically go to appraisal, but we're not going to jump to that step just yet. We're going to add it as a prospect property. Add prospect, contact's address, other address. So you can add another address here, but we are going to add contact's address, which is the 10 Kemp Street, Proceeding from there, we've got it as a residential property. Category, it is a house. Because I've already got the information of the property in the system, it's already pulled across here, so the address has come across. We'll add the features once we actually appraise the property. But scrolling down here, you can see that Mitch's details are already pulled across, So if you add a prospect property from scratch, you do need to add a contact in the system. But because Mitch is an existing contact, he's already here, tagged against the property. You can also see the contact class now is owner-occupier because Mitch owns the property and he lives in the property. If Mitch owned the property but had it as an investment, he would be an owner absentee. So we're going to leave it as owner-occupier. We're going to scroll down. we're going to tag the relevant agents. So right now it's myself, but I do work with associate Dwayne together, and we're going to work this property together. Now that we've done that, we're going to save and view the property, and we've just created it as a brand new prospect property into our system. So we're going to close that. I'm going to come over quickly to the agents and contacts. You can see that myself and Dwayne are currently prospecting agents, and Mitch is an owner occupier. Clicking back on Mitch, you can see that over here, the property is now tagged as a related property, as a prospect property. You can see that we're the agents working the property, and he's in there as an owner occupier. Okay, coming back to the property itself. So we can see that it's a prospect property. Not too much information has pulled across because we've just added it into the system, but we build a relationship with Mitch. We want to keep in contact with him. The best way to do it is using tasks in Agentbox. So tasks, anywhere you see tasks, obviously you can see it in the app, which you will look at a little bit later on, sorry. But you've also got the tick icon here. Anywhere you see the tick icon in Agentbox, that's our task. So if I click on the tasks here, I can create a single task, so just a one-off task, or I have the power to apply an activity schedule, which is a series of tasks, multiple tasks spread across multiple dates, multiple months as well. So clicking apply activity schedule, I'm going to drop down. I'm going to go to general. I'm just going to use the hot 0 to 30 day vendor task. Save and proceed. I'm going to assign the task to myself. So I'm going to be the agent that the task is going to be assigned to, and then finish. Now that we've created those tasks, we're just going to close everything. We're going to refresh our reminders, and we can see that those tasks that we've created for Mitch have jumped across to our reminders tab. So we can click on them and action them from here, or we can just go to the bottom of our screen in the center where it says tasks, click on that tick icon. We're going to filter down to just today, and we can see all the tasks that we've got scheduled to cover for today. So we've got Mitch, we've got the property. To contact the client, we just click on Mitch, we grab his mobile number, give him a call. Once we've spoken to Mitch, we can just complete the task. You have the power to also postpone a task. So if I've tried to call a client, I wasn't able to get through, I don't want to get rid of this task. So I have the power to postpone it for a later date and a later time to follow them up. So that's what we're going to do with this particular task. We're just going to postpone it until tomorrow for 8:30. That task has now jumped across to tomorrow. So if I go to my upcoming tasks, you can see that it's ready to go for tomorrow. But coming back to my today tasks, if one of these tasks, so send an e-newsletter. I don't have time to do that, but I know my colleague Dwayne has a little bit of free time this afternoon. I have the power to reassign the task to Dwayne. So I can go here, I can tag Dwayne, and I also have the power to retain myself against the task. I can unassign myself, but in this case, I am going to retain myself against the task. So it is going to stay in my tasks, but it's also going to jump across to Dwayne's task. Once Dwayne completes the task, ticks it, it will jump across and move forward from there. So I'll get out of our tasks from there. Right now, I'm just going to complete one of the tasks. So we're going to pretend for the last 30 or so days, we've been speaking to Mitch, building a relationship with him. Mitch says, you know what, I would like for you guys to come through and appraise my property. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the property itself. So 10 Kemp Street. Before we do anything, I just want to remind you guys, right now, we're the prospecting agents. Mitch is the owner occupier. We're going to go to prospect in the prospect property. We're going to go to the status at the top. Once you're in status, you click drop down and you're able to convert it to an appraisal either for sale or for lease. In this case, it's going to be a for sale property. If you work in a multi-office network, you select your office. You can see now that Mitch is going to become a prospective vendor. Myself and Dwayne are going to be appraisal agents. And we have the power to retain those tasks that we created before, or we can complete all. I'm just going to retain them for now, and I'm going to click yes. Okay, I'm going to close everything, and I'll come back to my pipeline. Currently, you can see I've got 8 appraisals sitting in my pipeline. It hasn't updated just yet, but when I come here, and I refresh, you can see I now have 9 open appraisals. Click on it. I go down here to last updated. Properties up here. Going to our agents and contacts, and you can see that we have now become appraisal agents and Mitch is now a prospective vendor. So the contact classes do change as you move through the pipeline. What I want to do now is I'm going to jump across to my app and I'm going to show you how we run an appraisal walkthrough on the app directly. So I'm just going to share my app. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. So right now on screen, you should be able to see the app pulling across, just waiting for it to jump across. Okay. Okay, guys. As you can see now on screen, you can see the app has pulled across. So in my events, I've gone to the home screen, I've gone to my reminders, and as you can see in my events, you can now see that I've got the appraisal at the top of the list. I'm going to jump through to the appraisal. Just going to check this. You can only see me, guys. Okay, just going to change that across and fix that. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, confirming. Can you guys see the app now on your screen? Not yet. No, no problem. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, should be popping up now on your screen. So confirming you can see the app. Perfect. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that. All right. On your screen, you can see in the reminders, and you guys should be able to see this. In the reminders, we have our events. So in the little home screen at the bottom, I've got my events. And as you scroll down your events, you can see everything that you've got set. So today I've got an appraisal. I have a reserve setting meeting tonight, and I've got a few open homes scheduled for this weekend. So you can see all those in your events. But I'm going to come up to where I've got the appraisal. We've created the appraisal. We can see that it's ready to go. We're going to click on the appraisal itself. So you can see change status. And the next thing just under change status is start appraisal walkthrough. So we're going to click on that. And over here, it has all the details of the appraisal. The only thing we are missing at the bottom of the screen, and that is it's actually mandatory for my office, is to have a source. So I'm going to click on source. I'm just going to have phone into the office and I'm going to start the appraisal. So we're at the property. We let the vendor know, listen, is it okay if I take some notes as I'm going through? And we travel through the property. So walking through, we can say that it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double lock-up garage as well. Another cool feature that the app has is you can add photos. So if you're a busy agent that does multiple appraisals, during the day, you're going to forget what properties you're going to. So you actually have the power to go in, take photos as you're traveling through the property, and it will actually pull through across and connect to the actual appraisal. Next. Over here with another building area, with another land area just here. I like to wait until I get the contract for this stuff. But we can see there is a lounge room, there is a study, and the property has 3 toilets because there is a toilet in the laundry. Then we're going to the features, clicking on the features. With the features, and I've seen this done in person, features is usually a good conversation to have with the owners. Tell me a little bit about your property. Okay, so we've got air conditioning, I've got an alarm system, close to schools, we're close to shops, close to transport. We do have an ensuite. As you can see, I have an intercom. There is heating. So those features are a good way to pretty much break the ice with the owner. Tell me a little bit about the property. If we were to sell your property, what kind of features would you like us to use in the marketing? You've got the building information. So when the property was built, when the property was renovated. So if I click on built, let's just say they built it last year. Then we're going to go next. What's the motivation? Why are we there? And you can put anything here. You can put divorce, they're downsizing, deceased estate, any reason why you're there. We're just, in this case, we're just going to put downsizing. Okay. Over here, this is the price range. Price range is based on our CMA. Based on comparable sales, I believe your property can achieve X to Y. So let's just say in this case, we're going to make it up. We're going to say 1.4 to 1.5 in today's market. Done. That's our price range. When you go to the appraisal price and the gross commission, they're the two figures that pull across to our pipeline. So see, when I was talking about the pipeline, I mentioned our value and GCI. Value pulls across directly from the appraisal price, and our gross commission pulls across to our GCI. So I'm going to be conservative. I'm just going to say the bottom end of the range, which is 1.4. And I've got my gross commission. So I can put a percentage. I have the power to put a set fee. I can put a custom range. I'm going to go in there at 2.2% for the first 1.4. And then I'm charging them 3% for anything I get them above 1.4, inclusive of GST. Potentially, my selling fee, if I was to secure 2.2%, will be 30,800 inclusive of GST. Next, sales method. I'm an auctioneer. I always choose auction, but you do have the power depending on how the conversation is going, depending on how you want to sell the property. Just click on here, select whatever subject on auction, but then you go back, you can choose expression of interest, private treaty, or tender as well. Classification. So I always like to tag classifications against properties because I like to know where the mindset is of the client. So cold means they just want us out for an appraisal. They're not looking to do anything. Warm, potentially selling, but haven't made a decision yet. And hot, 100% selling, definitely selling. And in the comments, these are our appraisal comments. Whatever we put here is going to jump across straight to the desktop. So over here, we're just going to put need to paint before taking photos. Done. Once I'm happy, I click on finish. And then as you can see here, we've got a buyer match and we've got a follow-up. This buyer match are all the clients in my database that fit the buying criteria of this property. So I know you guys would have experienced this. I've experienced that a lot in my career where you go out to an appraisal and they've had other agents in and the other agents tell the owner, oh, we've got buyers that fit your property. If you give us the business, we'll, get them through. That's awesome. Good on them. We actually have a lot of buyers as well. I can actually show you all the buyers I currently have in my database that fit the buying criteria of your property. Once you're ready to go, we've got your property live on the market, I can get them through your property. And you can just click on show match buyers just in that case, right there, just under our buyer match, and go through and you can see all the buyers there as well. These are the buyers that are also going to pull across in the desktop. So when you do a buyer match against a property, these are the contacts that are pulling across because their buyer requirements fit whatever we've appraised this property for. And follow up, we just go in there, add task, done, and then we've got the task to follow up. And then we finish the appraisal. The reason why I love this so much is because I've got the appraisal just there. This isn't an expiration link. I can go in and update anything I've just done. So if I've just finished the appraisal, I'm in the car and I want to change anything or update anything I've done, I just click on the property again. See just under change status, it says start appraisal walkthrough. So same one. Then we click at the bottom, green, start appraisal, and we can go in and update anything we wish to update. Go in there, change, update, move on from there. All right. The good thing about the appraisal walkthrough is everything we've literally just done here has now pulled through to our desktop. So we're going to stop sharing the app and we're going to come back and now we're going to share our screen. So we're going to come to our desktop again. Okay. So as you can see now on screen, just got to get out of that. Making sure it's pulled across. Yep, good. Okay. As you can see it now on screen, once I refresh my pipeline, the value in GCI should go up. So based on our actual commission and the value that we just put through, it should go up. So if I come up here and I refresh, as you can see now, because we had 1.4, the value's gone up to 17 million in my appraisals and the commission has gone up. I click on the open appraisal, I drop down, last updated, it's right there. The cool thing about this is the appraisal price has pulled across. Once I click on appraisal itself, I scroll down, you can see our appraisal range. So based on comparable sales, 1.4 to 1.5, our appraisal price, the date we done the appraisal, phone into the office, classification is hot. They're looking to downsize. So we put that they're looking to downsize. We did decide to go with auction, scrolling down, gross commission. This is really important as well, because you're not going to list every single listing on the spot. But some properties you are going to follow up, and it's good to have your gross commission in there that you've spoken to them, because if they call you in 3 months' time and tell you, listen, I'm happy to go with whatever commissions structure you told me before, you've got it here, you know what it is, you can move forward. The only thing I do suggest in that case, and it's been brought up a couple of times with me recently with a couple of clients that I train, is obviously the market's changed, it's dipped a little bit. It's always good to go in and appraise the property again. So don't just say, yeah, no, that's cool, we'll do 2.2 at 1.4. And then because you always want to try to hit your little kicker, which is the 3%. So you might need to adjust your feedback on commission as well and feedback on the property value. The property details I've come across as well: bedrooms, bathrooms, lounge, double lock-up garage. Again, I don't like to put anything in the land size and any of that type of stuff, because if we are going to list this property, I want this information to be very accurate. So I like to get the contract for sale or just get any council documentation that shows the actual property sizing. We can see that when the property was built, our features, so you can see all the features have pulled across here that we spoke to the owner about to build that report, tell me about your property. And then of course, our appraisal comments, need to paint before taking photos. You can put whatever you want over here. So that's all pulled across directly from the app. So I know a lot of agents go with pen and paper when they do an appraisal walkthrough. And then once they've done that, they got to come back to the office and add it here. The good thing is you open your iPad, which is what I just used. You open your phone and then you can jump across, and then everything you do in the actual appraisal walkthrough will be directly here sitting in the desktop when you get back to the office. Okay, I'm going to close everything. We're going to continue scenario. So that was just an appraisal. We went out there, we just appraised the property. We didn't talk about our listing costs or anything like that. The client calls us back, says, listen, I want you to come back and just do a listing presentation to myself and my wife. No problem. So we're going to go to open appraisal. I'm just going to go to the last property. So it was 10 Kemp Street. We're going to update the status to listing presentation, because we're going to go back out there. It's now a listing presentation. So it's now going to move to the pipeline, move through the pipeline until it gets to presentation. Like I said before, I know a lot of agents praise and present at the same time. I was one of those agents, but sometimes you do get those scenarios where they find your flyer in the mailbox. They just want an update on their property. They're not looking to do anything. That's when it sits in open appraisals, and potentially we move it from there as well if they're actually generally not looking to do anything. Okay, it's sitting in presentation. We go out there, we present, we talk about our marketing, we talk about what we do for them, our experience, all that type of fun stuff. They love us. They sign the relevant documentation. They give us the business. We now have got the property listed. What we do is we come in there, again, moving the status from appraisal, we're now moving it to convert to listing. And now the property is going to sit in our listed pending, and it will stay there until we've got everything for it ready to go live on the market. So a little bit of recap. We've just done best case scenario. we've met a client, we've added their address into the system, we've added that address as a prospect property, we follow them up using tasks, we built a relationship, we went through the door, they told us come through, appraise our property, we appraised their property, they actually really liked us, they called us back to present to them, they loved us at the presentation, loved everything we were selling, gave us the business, it's now sitting in listed pending, and it stays in there until we do what we need to do, get our photos, get everything we need to do, and then we'll go live on the market. So that's best case scenario. But as we know in real estate, it's not always best case scenario. We don't want properties sitting in our pipeline if they're not actually coming on the market with us or coming on the market at all in a specific time frame. So my time frame is 6 months. Some of the other agents I've trained like to do 12 months. So if the property is not coming on the market for 12 months, they'll remove it out of the pipeline. But we're going to click on my open appraisals. We're going to go to John Wick's house at 12 Bulletproof Street in Kellyville. And we're going to pretend he's going to hold off for about 2 years. He's not in any position to sell yet. So he's going to hold off for a couple of years. So what we do is we go to appraisal. We go to status. This time we're going to cancelled missed. We're going to put cancelled because we're cancelling the appraisal from here. The appraisal still exists in Agentbox. We're just going to cancel it from our pipeline. And we're going to put the reason looking to hold off or whatever. Once we do that, the status will change and it will no longer be in our open appraisals. Very important though. So people's situations change. They might say we're not looking to do anything for a couple of years, but people lose their jobs, people go through divorce, people's situations change in real estate. It's our job to stay top of mind and always be in contact. So because we've taken it out of our appraisal, it's still good to apply a task or even an activity schedule to follow them up and stay on top of them, keep them updated on the market, because in 2, 3, 4 months time, if their situation changes and they need an agent, you want to be their go-to agent. You want to be the agent they call to come back and sell the property for them. So that's what we do if the property, that's what we do if they're going to hold off. Similar situation is when they've listed with someone else. Again, they're coming on the market with someone else. We definitely don't want them sitting in our pipeline. So we're going to go to appraisal, cancelled miss. This time we've missed the business. We missed the opportunity. We missed the business. And over here, you put exactly, so obviously you would follow up the client, they're listing with someone else because they're cheaper than us, whatever. You put it here, or they probably told them, they lied to them and told them they can get a lot more for their property than they potentially can. You like to put that in there. Once you've done that, I personally still would go in there, tag a task to follow them up moving forward. You want to put a task to follow them up and just stay on top of it. Keep an eye on the property, because potentially if they did tell them, oh, you know what, your property is worth 2 million when it's actually worth 1.5, potentially they're not selling in the time frame of the agency agreement. So you want to be there in contact with them. And also it's good to keep them updated on the market. So if you're selling a property similar to theirs, it's good to keep them updated, because if they see that you're actively selling property and you actually told them their property is worth X amount and this agent has lied to them, most likely they will be coming back to you and they'll trust you a lot more, and it's a lot easier to sell those properties as well. Okay, team. So played around with our pipeline. We've got it in listed pending, goes to available. We run it through the campaign. We make it conditional, make it unconditional. We settle the property. We get paid. We're all happy. So moving from there, we're all happy. Everybody's winning, and we keep going. That's the process. We just keep running, bring the properties in, add the prospect properties, and move them through the pipeline from there. Okay. Because we've taken some properties out of our pipeline, and I know a lot of agents have a lot of open appraisals and presentations that they keep in the pipeline because they don't know how to find them. They don't know where they are if they were to take them out of the pipeline. So they've got a lot of dirty data, I would say, it's just sitting there. But you have this little house icon at the bottom of your screen. If you click this little house icon, these are your properties. You can go in there, you can click on advanced search, and what we're going to do is over here, we're going to scroll down to, I'm not going to change any of the other filters, except I'm going to come down here to where it says offline, reason, cancelled, missed, save. You do have the power to put a lot of features in. So you can put the property suburbs. So if you want to see all the properties you had appraised in a certain suburb that are offline for whatever reason, so they've listed with someone or they've decided to hold off. You have the power to filter through the timeframes as well. You can, but we're just going to do a quick search. And as you can see, I've got 563 properties that we've removed for being cancelled or missed. And you can see the appraisal date as well. So that's in there tagged against them. And if you put relevant information, so the actual price that you appraised it for, it pulls across here. I want to refine this search though. I want to search all the properties I appraised in Parramatta. Be good if I can spell the suburb, Parramatta, that are cancelled and missed. And I'm going to put it here and I'm going to save the search as Parramatta C/M, cancelled, missed, search. So I've got 6 properties in Parramatta that are cancelled and missed. And now it's in my saved searches as well. And once you've, I'll refresh it, it pulls across as your saved search. So moving forward, you can go in there, change the saved search. You can update the saved search as well. But this is where we find those properties. We come in here, we can search all our properties. And it's not only properties that are offline for whatever reason. You can find all your properties that you've added into the system and tagged as prospect properties as well. Next thing we want to look at is our appraisal reports. So we want to look at the reports where we can go in there and follow up and track our appraisals. I'm going to close all this. I'm going to come to the little pie graph at the bottom of the screen. Clicking that pie graph, I've got agents reports. Scrolling down, you can see my appraisal report over here. I'm going to click on that. I'm not going to change any filters from the appraisal report. I'm just going to roll with it, but there is a few filters here that you can change, but we're just going to leave it just for now. Pull across over here. We can see the listing. We can see the office that appraised it, residential, current status of the property as well, the classification that we put when we appraised it, our vendor's details, that appraisal source where they came from. I usually tick phone into office, obviously being a fake account, but again, you guys put family, friend, Meta, open home, whatever appraisal source you have in there, you can put there. The appraisal agents, the price you appraised it for, the date, if it made it to presentation, if you listed it, and then you've got cancelled and missed here as well. If I scroll down all the way to the bottom, I can see the appraisal prices for the properties, appraisal dates, how many made it to presentation, how many were listed, and then I've got 10 were cancelled, 0 missed in that time frame. I want to refine it, and I just want to go off, let's just go off the end of last year, so not 2025. We're just going to go to December. So let's go search. So then it breaks it down to just the properties we appraised between July to December. So very similar figures because we haven't done that many appraisals this year. So that pulls across, and that is a very good report to go in there. Again, if you refine it, you have the power to also refine it to the agents. So if I just want to refine it to the appraisal Wayne done, keep all the other filters, keep all the columns included. And some agents like to remove certain columns. I'm just going to keep everything for the sake of the training. And we're going to see everyone that's hot. Search. Pulls across here. So all the classifications are hot. And they're all the properties that Dwayne was a part of now. You're able to filter. And each agent has the power to go in, filter their own properties and follow up the reports. If you don't have the permission to see these reports, you can request permission from your master users, so the managers in your office or the principals that have access to it. They can give you permission, or they can create those reports for you as well. So that's here. You go to reports, you go to agent reports, and then you go to appraisal reports. We also have the appraisal accuracy report. So we're going to click on that. We're going to go off sold date. Just going to keep that open range as well. We're going to keep the current statuses and we're going to go search. So over here, we've got the listing, the offers, current status of the property, when we appraised it, sold, appraisal agents, listing agents, because it's changed because we've actually secured the business. And that's what we appraised the property for. That's what we sold the property for. And that's how accurate we were. So with this one, we were well off, but obviously this is a fake account. In your case, you guys would be able to actually see this, go in there and see what you've appraised the property for and what you potentially have sold it for as well. Okay, guys. Jumping back to share our little slides. Okay. If you have Agentbox and Console, one cool feature that we have now is you can actually, if you scan the QR code on screen, you have the power to integrate, where you can tag tasks from Console directly to Agentbox, or you can send a referral from Agentbox to Console. So the property management and the sales team can actually talk together. So if you're an agent that uses both Console and Agentbox, you have the power to have this turned on. Reach out to support. So reach out to support, let them know that you have both, and they can turn this on for you, and just makes things a lot easier. So everything's recorded now. It will be in Agentbox. Instead of sending an email to property management and you don't know what's going on, you now have control that you're sending it directly from here, and it does show up as a task. So if I go to the next slide, you can see it will just come up there in your reminder screen. So I'll pull across as a task. This isn't a very clear picture, but it does come across as a task. It'll be in your tasks as, it'll be in your task as a referral. Reach out to that client. Hi, X from property management asked me to give you a call. Mentioned you wanted an update on your property. When are you available? Happy to come out, give you an update on your property, or tell me a little bit about your property. And you find that if it's coming from property management, it's probably a lot warmer or potentially hotter contact, and they most likely are coming to market. So guys, just doing a recap of what we've covered today. So we've run through appraisals, best process, I would say, actually, how to run an appraisal, the workflow as well. So the workflow that I ran today is how I use the system as an agent. The workflow is how I've seen a lot of successful agents use the system, and you sort of are saving time. You're running through the same workflow. You're not missing anything. You're using the appraisal walkthrough on the app. Everything is just simplified for you. And you're not missing any steps, and it gives you the best opportunity to secure business as well. Using tasks is a big thing because we get busy as real estate agents. We're not going to remember everything. If we're tagging tasks for appraisals, it gives us the best opportunity to remember who we're speaking to, build those relationships, and go from there. Guys, before I let you run, we're going to do one more quick poll. I'm just going to throw a poll out there. And I just want to know, what was your biggest take from this webinar? And if you wanted to, we do have our trainers that reach out, and we can run some bespoke training for yourself. So let us know. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway from today was, and one of our trainers can be in contact. Somebody just private message me. Yes, we do on-site face-to-face training, guys. So yeah, just tick the yes please box, and we can come out and contact you. I'll reach out to you as well, guys, if you do want face-to-face training. We are potentially going to also organize some face-to-face training in the office here in Sydney. So if you're based in Sydney and you want face-to-face training, but you don't want us coming to your office, you can actually come to our office. So that information will be available as well. Guys, give it some time. Awesome. I can see a lot of people have taken the appraisal walkthrough app, which is cool. Yep, the appraisal walkthrough is probably one of my favorite things as well. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Awesome. All right, guys, thanks for that. thanks everyone for coming. This recording will be available in 24 hours, so it will be sent to you, but it's also going to be available on our YouTube channel. So Reaper ANZ Training, this recording will be available there as well. I am going to stay on for another 5 minutes. So if you do have any questions, just put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them as well. Everyone else, thanks for coming, guys, and I hope you took a lot out of this. Thank you. So Jen just wrote, can we practice the appraisal walkthrough? So Jen, you can, if you have the app logged in, you can actually connect them. I'm going to try connecting it now because it actually died on me, but you can connect it. So if you create an appraisal in the desktop, so you create an appraisal here and you're logged into the app, it will automatically show up in your app. So when you go to the app, let's see if I can, but no, it's not letting me. If you do go into the app, it will show up in your app and you're able to go through. Having one tomorrow at 6 p.m. Awesome. That's perfect. You can trial it there. So sit down as you're going through, let the owner know, hey, is it okay if I just take some notes? And yeah, they'll go through. Let's update it, but I won't allow me to add any info. Okay, Jen, I'll probably give you a call offline and we'll just work out what you're doing in that regard. But everyone else, guys, if you don't have any questions, I'll just finish the webinar and we'll see you at our next webinar.